we have all these maps that allow us to edit. We're going to go back to our layers. And we're going to get into actually painting this thing on. So the baking gave us access to all of these material channels, which will allow us to edit all of them for all of this. Okay, so the first thing that I want to do is talk about the different types of layers. Okay, let me delete this. The first type of layer that I want to talk about is add layer. Now this is a paintable layer. So now that I have this layer, I am able to paint on the object. If I delete this layer, you can see that I don't have access to any of my brushes or the eraser or anything else because there is no editable layer within Substance. So I'm going to go ahead and click up here and get myself a new layer. This is going to be a standard draw layer, just for labeling purposes. Now down here, I can edit anything I want. So I'm going to turn it all off, except for the color. I'm going to make it red. And now, let me turn it off. Now we can see that I have painted red on here, and it is stored. Now, what I can also do is have height. So if I do the same thing, but now I raise the height, you can see it has now created a normal map or a height map in there. Now, say if I want to do the exact same thing but add a roughness channel, and I want to make it very, very shiny, I can edit again. Good. Now the difference is, once I do this, it draws. It does not change what happened previously. So if I adjust this height, nothing is going to be adjusted until the next time that I draw. Okay? And I can make it metal. Let's go ahead and make it white is metal, black is not metal. And now let's draw. Now we have metal, and it's very, very reflective. So we have all these different things, and we can't edit them after the fact, but it allows us to draw, which is really cool. Other options that we have in here, so if I were to delete that, we can start getting interesting with our layers. With all of this stuff done, we can go into our shelf, and we can go through our brushes, our alphas, our materials, but I want to focus on brushes. We were using a standard circle brush. I want to try something else, so I'm going to click dirt spots, and now I can click and we get a little bit. I can drag, and you see we just get different, and we have all of these variations to kind of edit everything that we're doing. So now we can get mold, we can get dirt, we can get concrete. You can create your own brush and import it. You can do basically whatever you want and import it and draw, which is this is why Substance is powerful, because we can get all of these different things onto this layer. So that would be a standard paint layer using your brushes, using your eraser. You can erase everything. You can use the fill, so you can fill polygons. You can use the smudge and smudge it. And if you want, you can clone. So those are all the things we can do with a standard layer. The next type of layer that I want to talk about is a fill layer. So when you click and you get a fill layer instead of a standard layer, this allows you to edit everything all at once. So if I want this thing to be green, like the paint on a grenade, I can make it green. And then if I don't want to edit height, that's fine. Roughness, say if I want it to be really shiny, I don't. Or if I want it to be kind of matte, which I do. Down here we can make it metallic if we want, or we can make it non-metallic or partially metallic. Okay, the normal will be for printing things in later, but I'll get into that. Now that we have this, we can combine the two. So a fill layer is a blanket statement, a blanket color, a blanket height, a blanket roughness across the entire mesh. So what we can do here, in terms of how layers work, is we can bring a regular layer in. And here we can see that we still have that red. I'm going to go back to a standard circle brushes, standard circle. You can see it change here between there and there and there. Good. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw. Now that I've drawn this, we can see that the color comes through. We can see that this layer, which is our standard layer, and then our fill layers underneath. If I were to drag our first layer underneath our fill layer, we would lose the color, but maintain the height. And the reason is because of these small settings up here. Just like Photoshop, the blending mode matters. So if I have this as a normal, that's how it's going to work. If I have it as pass through, it's going to be the same. If I have it as replace, oh, hold on. Normal, replace. Well, let me work through this real quick. Overlay, there we go. That's going to bring it through. Linear dodge, which will bring it through. Normal. Normal. Okay, pass through. Okay, so go to our height channel. That's the problem that I was dealing with. If I were to shift into here, this allows us to enter the blending layer. Okay, so how we want it to affect. And then this little thing right here allows us to edit each of the specific channels that we decided at the beginning to bake in. So if I choose this, we're on the color. If I go to height, and now we have height is LDGE, which is a linear dodge. Now if I go to normal, we lose the height, okay? But if I go to color, let's see, go to color, and I allow linear dodge, the color will come through, but not the height. So I can edit each of these, linear dodge, I can edit each of these independently for a very, very complex number of layers to actually showcase how powerful this is. So let me go normal. So in terms of the layer stack, depending on how we stack them, it's going to give us a different view. The top layer is going to override the bottom layer. But if we allow pass-throughs, then we can see that some of the underneath features will pass through and come to the top layer, as shown here. Okay, say on my height right here, coming back into here, we can edit things. So if I wanted to be in the base color, under my layer, we have our normal blending mode. And say I have this, I can actually get rid of the color by sliding this down. Same thing if I were to go to height, click the slider, and I can get rid of the height or choose a proponent of the height. So this is where a lot of the editing can become very, very powerful. So you can always go slightly over on your height channel and then edit it back afterwards, which makes this completely a very powerful adjustable system. Something that offers another way to view all this and edit all this is as soon as you get multiple layers and stacks and they start getting weird, you can start seeing how they affect. And we can come here to our material viewer and see. If I just want to see the color, and we'll go up here to our view and hit 3D 2D, you'll see how the maps will export based on the UVs. And in the 3D projection, we can see that this is just the base color. And if I hit B again, we can look at the height map. We can look at the normal map. We can look at the roughness map. And we can edit on here. So if you are having trouble knowing what you need to edit based on the actual view, like, is this roughness? Is it metallic? What is the problem? What am I looking at? How do I edit this? Then you can be like, oh, okay, well, this is a metallic issue. So now I can go in and edit in that manner. So it allows a lot of different styles of editing just by going to this material viewer in the 2D and 3D workspace to view, and then you can edit accordingly.